Hey there, we are going to learn about the Sahara Desert. And to learn about the Sahara Desert, we're going to do two things. We will listen to a few minutes, about 2 minutes of a video. Then we're going to take some notes. And at the end, you're going to find some pictures of the Sahara Desert and put it on a Jamboard. Okay, let's get started with the video. So tune in to what this teacher's talking about the Sahara Desert in Africa.
It is the largest hot desert in the world and the third largest desert overall after Antarctica and the Arctic. It has an area of 92 lakh square kilometers and is comparable to the area of China and the United States. The desert comprises much of North Africa, excluding the fertile regions on the Mediterranean Sea coast, the Atlas Mountains of the Maghreb, and the Nile Valley in Egypt and Sudan. It
So I'm going to pause it so you can see that the Sahara Desert is covering almost all of northern Africa. So it's a huge region. He said it's as big as China, as big as the United States. So when you're thinking of the Sahara, think of a huge, enormous desert.
it stretches from the Red Sea in the east and the Mediterranean in the north to the Atlantic Ocean in the west, where the landscapes gradually changes from the desert to the coastal plains. The Sahara Desert can be divided into several regions, including the Western Sahara, the Central Aghar Mountains, the Tibesti Mountains, the Air Mountains, the Tenere Desert, and the Libyan Desert.
So even in the Sahara Desert, there's other parts. There's a few mountain ranges, and then there's even some other deserts that are, this one is within the Sahara, and he said the Tenere is outside. So don't think of it like a flat desert. Think of it like there are mountain regions there too.
extends into 11 countries, and these are Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Sudan, Tunisia, Western Sahara. The Sahara Desert is covered with sand dunes, rocky hills, and stretches of gravel that continue for miles and miles. Now, very few people live in the desert because it is considered one of the harshest places to live in the world. The people who live here are called nomads. They move from place to place, usually traveling by camel, looking for food and water. To the
Okay, we're going to pause there. And so we've got an introduction to what it looks like and where the Sahara Desert is. I'm going to go now to the slides, and I put the slides for you also in Schoology. I have the slides and I have the notes. So I'm hoping to show you how this goes side by side so that you can easily do the notes. So the notes are fill in the blanks and the answers are in on the slide. So let's see what there is to learn about the Sahara. So the Sahara is the world's largest hot desert. So it's the world's largest hot desert. It runs across the width of northern Africa and it covers 1/3 of the continent. Now let's pause. Last week we were learning that the Sahara Desert covers about a fourth of the continent, about 25%. So it sounds like there's some debate if it covers a third of the continent or a quarter, which is less. But in my mind, that's not so important of a detail. You should just think that, like in Africa, a lot of it, as much as a third, or a fourth, so 30% or 25% is desert. And that desert is the Sahara. So the desert takes up quite a lot of Africa, and the Sahara is in the north. The next bullet is it divides the continent into two distinct regions, North Africa and the sub-Saharan Africa. The word sub means under, and I never really understood why they called the rest of Africa sub-Saharan until I looked at the map and I was like, oh, if this is the Sahara on the map where I'm pointing, Everything to the south is sub-Saharan or like under the Sahara Desert. And then the Sahara Desert, we would say, is in northern Africa. And so it kind of separates the land into northern Africa and the sub-Saharan Africa, which is all the way, which includes the west, the east, the central, and the south. So the main point is that the Sahara is in the northern part of Africa. The Sahara is covered with sand dunes, rocky hills, and stretches of gravel that continue for miles and miles. So that's why I put pictures of sand dunes. There's some grass, some hills, maybe some gravel, lots of rocks. But being a desert, not much is going to be growing there. Okay. Continuing with the notes, the bullet we're on is this one, very few people. Very few people live in the desert because it's considered one of the harshest places to live in the world. The people who live there are called nomads. Nomad is a vocabulary word, and it means people who move from place to place. That's why I put these pictures here. They move from place to place, usually traveling by camel and looking for food and water. So there aren't that many animals that can survive in such a dry place, but camels are one of them. That's why when you look up pictures of the Sahara, you see lots of pictures of people traveling with camels. You may know that camels don't require that much water. They can go for a long time without drinking water. They're a perfect animal to have in the desert. Okay. The vocab word I want you to learn is arid. Arid is a fancy word for very dry, and we use it to talk about land. We don't usually use it to talk about like clothes or other things that are dry. Like if you are in the shower and you dry off, you don't say like, I'm arid. You use it more to describe land. So any place in the world that is very dry, it's often described as arid. Can you practice saying arid? It sounds like rid, like get rid of that, but then arid. Arid is a very good word to know when we're talking about dry places. Okay, let's see what we have to do right now. So we finished the notes, and if you need to go back and look at the slides, I put them in Schoology for you. And the work we're going to do is about a Jamboard. So I made a Jamboard. We're actually going to use this Jamboard all week. So I'll show you, the title is Africa's Physical Regions. And I have 3 pages because we're going to learn about 3 of the different regions. So this week we're going to learn about the Sahara, the Sahel, and the Savannah. We're doing all the S ones this week. And so what I need you to do is I need you to add some pictures on here. So I'd like you to search up. You can search on Google, put in the keyword Sahara and see what comes up. I found this. And then after you do the picture, I'm challenging you to also write a post-it note and describe what you see in this picture. So here I said nomads use camels to move from place to place because he's clearly going somewhere. He's in the desert and he's got his camel. Over here I put our vocabulary word arid. You could also go in Google, let's do it right now, and you could search for arid. What would you find? Oh, yep, you'd find some dry land like that. So you could put that into the Jamboard. That would be awesome. And then I'll just put this picture right over here. So I'm asking you to add a picture and then add a post-it note. So I could say like arid means very, very dry, like this land that is cracked. And then do a post-it note next to it describing the picture. That's it. You can turn in your notes and you can do the Jamboard, and then we'll learn about another region tomorrow. Have a great day.